is up, guys?
Hey,
Not much. How are you? It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been a little while in the back room, letting everyone wait, milking the suspense.
Yes, squeezing the teats.
And like normal, we are missing a panel member. You guys know who it is. Let's welcome Rollo, his ghost.
Dog, did you just do that?
The shocker, yeah.
Oh my god!
Imagine that he's not here. No. So what are we talking today, Lord Daimyo?
Yeah, we're going to be covering multiple ruins in the present day Turkey. They've got a couple different sites, Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe, that they have started to excavate, and the carbon dating is going back to about 8,000 to 10,000 years. And they've also found and located multiple cities beneath this area that they're thinking now they haven't traversed every nook and cranny, but they're thinking that everything is you connected and intertwined, so you can travel to these multiple large cities where people are living. The biggest kind of wonder is A, how many of these cities are there in that area? B, who built them? And and C, like how they were made. So
D, is there one under my house?
I wish there was. Be a good place to
Right?
hide.
It'd be freaking awesome. And what is the purpose?
Yeah.
And who did it?
So I think we should start with this little video here. Let me share my screen.
What area are we starting with? Just
Ronnie, I got
abroad
in as a replacement.
So this is this one specifically is about Darren Kuyu.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
which one is this again?
Huh?
The city, the underground.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. The names are going to be quite different.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Daimyo, I'm half impressed with just it's this one.
Oh, I've been looking at a lot of this shit for the past few days. Been very. I think I love this stuff. We're not going to go too detailed into Karahan Tepe and Göbekli Tepe. We'll look into it, and I've got a few articles that we can watch. They're going to talk about it in the video that I'm going to share. It's just that we've only uncovered about 5 to 10% of these places, so there isn't much information on it right now. But we are going to look at some pictures, talk about it. What's up?
There's a fun speculation conversation I would like to have regarding the tepes,
which we are definitely going to do at the back end.
And I've got some fun facts that I have learned. So
perfect.
Should be fun.
Let's jump into this video now.
Indeed.
Why is it being all weird?
So, fun fact of these, if you don't have video, okay. Uh-oh.
I'm hoping the
sound... you should be able to go.
Can you guys hear that?
I don't know. You immediately paused it.
No.
Nah, I don't hear anything.
No, you got the page shared instead of the
Yeah. Stop sharing. It's not giving me the option.
I think I literally just watched that video.
Well,
that's funny. Yeah.
Okay, I guess I have to have full screen on.
Full screen?
Yeah.
Get after it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's minimize that. Does that look kind of weird?
I mean,
it'll do.
Click the full screen. Yeah, it'll do.
Cool. Do you guys hear that?
No.
No?
No. Do you want to send me the link and I'll share it?
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this. I've been able to share videos on previous streams. Yeah, sorry about this, chat.
It's all good, bro.
It'll buff out.
Yeah.
But I had come across, because I was curious, and I think we had a back and forth conversation not too long ago about this, of how they dug all this all these tunnels out, and we were speculating that possibly there were subterranean, water flows or something like that. So what I found out is that it's called tuff, which
Yeah, I was
is
gonna say that.
the exact opposite of what it is,
Yeah.
and it's
volcanic
basically like,
stone.
yes, it's volcanic ash that has been like solidified.
So is this one so this is the underground city, correct?
Yeah, so
Yes.
this kind of goes over both towards the end.
Okay.
And
Well, I'm glad, because there's a little thing that I want to ask about this, and I think y'all will know more than I on this. So let's watch this, and hopefully it'll work.
This fabled
All right.
region right in the center of Turkey.
Is it
Every
working?
civilization, from the Persians to the Romans and beyond, has laid claim to this area. It's one of these places in the ancient world where the history is layered so thick, you hardly even know where to begin.
This mountainous region covers 2,000 square miles of craggy cliffs and peaks, reaching 14,000 feet in elevation. It's easy to get lost without a local guide.
When you come here, what strikes you is the physical landscape.
That is beautiful.
These fairy chimneys are very famous. All these volcanic deposits have been eroded away to give you these incredible rock formations. That's what's on the surface, the natural phenomenon. But below my feet is the mystery made by man.
What really makes Cappadocia one of the coolest places in the world is the intricate network of underground cities beneath this moonscape. This one here is called Azkana, and it was discovered in 1972 by a farmer who noticed the water in his field draining into a hole. When he opened it up, he found a sprawling metropolis made of stone.
Look at that. This is so cool.
I was here 15 years ago, when I was 15 years younger and much less wise.
Oh, is that how that works?
Like to think.
I did just watch this.
Only a number of these cities have been excavated. The working theory was that they were all dug around 3,000 years ago to serve as emergency shelters for a few thousand people. But since I was last here, they've uncovered more and more of these underworlds. Archaeologists now believe that there are 200 of these cities, and they're much bigger than we thought back then.
I mean, this entire underground city is itself connected to another underground city, presumably connected to another one.
That's the suspicion, that they sort of had this ability to create this whole underground network.
This might be a megalopolis of underground cities.
Megalopolis.
Suburban
I know, I
sprawl.
laughed too at that word.
The features of the underground city are impressive, especially considering they were made with hand tools. It must have taken decades or even centuries to build them.
There's another tunnel that way. There's another door there.
Pause, please.
And it just continues.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, just to give some context to this, so this is a conceptual layout of what they're going under right now. It's a network of tunnels, right? So it was most likely built, right? Would it be the Bronze Age? Does that sound about right?
No,
That's 6,000.
no. This is speculated to be built before the first findings of even pottery was found.
Yeah. So one of the things I saw said that this is supposed to be pre-Mesopotamia, which is why it's such a big deal.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is
one
supposed to
question I
be
would
13
have,
to 11,000 years ago.
yeah, one question I would have for this is there is I always love how I bring religion back into this, but there is
Great
there's
point.
that story of when I think it's Jeremiah that has to basically rebuild the wall around Jerusalem, and everyone's just kind of sitting there going, "It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You can't do it. There's no way we could do this." And he basically says, okay, well, we all live basically in a circle. So if we all just build the wall in front of our house, we'll be able to do it. So taking kind of the same idea, what is the possibility, do you think, that they had the same idea where it was just like, okay, well, y'all want to buy a house? Well, y'all have got to dig it out.
So they, in another video we'll watch further
Hmm.
on in the stream, they talk about how within these cities they find crosses, but they also find mosques within them, which tells them that it wasn't just one culture that
They were inhabited by multiple people throughout history.
Okay, so
Yeah,
so do you think it's a instance where if you can you go back to that real quick?
shoot, sorry.
That's fine. Danny and I talked about this once, but when you build things like this, when you build tunnels, or we were talking about the crypts of Winterfell, but when you build subterranean things, you don't the oldest stuff is not at the top. The oldest stuff is at the bottom because you don't, or no, sorry, the other way around. The oldest stuff is always at the top because you don't know how far down you have to go. Because you know, with the crypts, it would suck if you put the first Stark down there at the bottom, and then all of a sudden you run out when it comes time to bury the next guy. So, do you think in this case? Or I guess you know because of the stuff that they're talking about, but do they know the age difference in the different levels?
So that I didn't see that detail in my reading into this, but I do know that it goes down 18 stories, which is a lot, and that's just what's been found. So it could easily go down further.
18 levels.
Yeah, and
so
go on.
Go ahead. I was going to say to Caleb's question. So a lot of the lowest levels, which even in this picture depicts for you, are like the religious rooms, like the churches, and which to me suggests that that is right later on when you have Christians that are utilizing these. Yeah. Especially if this was originally like. If it aligns with Göbekli Tepe and the overarching theory with all that, then this could have began construction 13,000 years ago or so, right? And Christians didn't develop till when I don't really know, but much later. Yeah.
So would it not have been weird because basically what this is saying by having churches and mosques in it, that people were living in this shit in 600 AD. So would it not be weird for people to still be living in the ground in that area of the world?
Well, at that time period, I'm sure there was a.
You needed to.
I'm sure there was a time where they needed to, maybe due to weather or something.
So you had more of a retreat
Yeah, I think that for most of the consensus that I was reading about was it was about invasions. And so you'd
Okay.
have
Yes.
people living on top like this, but then when an invading force like Egypt, the Greeks,
Mongols.
yeah,
Yeah.
they would just run straight down into these tunnels. And as we
Steal
get
the
further into this
doors.
video, you'll see the narrow passageways. And you can kind of see it in this photo, like the hallways and passageways at the top are all very small, and that's to help with the invasion strategy. So people would they'd have these small, thin,
They'd be bottlenecked.
bottlenecks, so that they'd have to stand single file line, and then they could come around the back of them and flank them. Seriously. So
Okay.
and we can pull this image up again. Let's just kind of truck through this video a bit more.
And they had great ventilation too, so they couldn't really be smoked out. They were susceptible to a siege, although the ambient climate year round was great for food storage.
Hey,
so
Matt.
you kind of
Good night.
it was kind of versatile for all that. So
yeah, and so to your point, you have these ducts that you can see right here, which are just air shafts that
they're wells too. They're disguised. Yep.
And even if they were even if there are attempts made to smoke them out, they had all this air ventilation that just wouldn't work. And they could close. You'll see soon they'll close off the doorways, and that would just shut off that area. And then they
seal the blast doors.
Yeah, so smoke wouldn't work. And
are those droidicats?
Yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. But
I always take it to
No,
Westeros. You always take it to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I've always been curious about is who built them and why. Luckily, a new discovery 30 miles from here may do exactly that. Halil Sekirol is an archaeologist who uncovered some ancient hieroglyphs back in 2019. I want to know if there's anything in these hieroglyphs that may point to the creators of the underground cities.
This is the place? Up there? Yeah, this is the entrance.
So epic with the music.
I know, so dramatic.
Slow-mo.
Oh, this is amazing. That's very old
With
construction.
that bass drop though.
And these are the scripts.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hieroglyphs.
Oh, look at this. So this thing is a storybook. And these are all symbols.
So this shows the mountain is big, the mountain is strong, holy. After some sample testing from the organic materials in the ground, the carbon date says this is 3,500 years ago.
Wow.
This shows the Hittites lived here 3,500 years ago. Each symbol is one word or one name, and you see that it's shaped like a mountain.
Yeah.
All this Cappadocia was the Hittite land.
Halil and his team interpret the mountain symbols as an indication that the Hittites were claiming ownership of the mountainous region of Cappadocia. But could they have built the underground cities? Researcher and author Andrew Collins has spent years searching for the answer to that question.
The general belief was that they could have been constructed by the Hittites. But the underground cities were clearly already there before the time of the Hittites.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Andrew's research suggests that the Hittites
the
took advantage of underground cities that already existed. They didn't build them. He says, my timetable is off, and I mean way off.
There was an archaeologist locally, Omar Demir, and he'd found whole extensive areas of rock chips that had very clearly come from one or more of the underground cities. What this showed was these underground cities could go back much, much older than the time of the Hittites, at least 11 to 12,000 years old.
So if Andrew's theory is right, and Cappadocia's underground cities were dug by an advanced civilization dating back 12,000 years into the Stone Age, it might be a whole new chapter in our understanding of human history. I'm interested in checking this out even further, so I'm now headed to check out Göbekli Tepe, an archaeological site 200 miles to the southeast. Perhaps clues uncovered there can reveal some truth about the lost civilization of Cappadocia.
I smell archaeology. I love the
I
smell
don't
of history
smell
in
it.
the morning. This is the oldest
Okay.
archaeological site in the world.
Can't
This
you
is
smell
late
it?
Stone Age. Everything you're seeing here was made with a flint or
Probably
a stone
his upper
tool,
lip.
and that's it. Look at that one over there. That one in particular just blows your mind. That's a
Would you just look at
3D
it?
rendering of some kind of predator crawling down the side of that pillar.
It's a leopard.
If Stone Age humans had enough skill to construct this elaborate temple, then it stands to reason they could also have dug the underground cities that housed hundreds of thousands in Cappadocia. And if Cappadocia and Göbekli Tepe are linked, this is a culture extending over 200 miles in central Turkey. A large society, socially advanced. Could this have been the original cradle of human civilization?
Damio,
What's up?
your stream just got pulled.
Really? Was it because of the History Channel copyright,
Yeah, I think so.
or reacting to it?
Streams. I don't think we're doing enough. Stream suspended for policy violations.
Yep.
Go
Those
to
motherfuckers. So no one's watching right now.
No.
no. Go to
Damn, I didn't think this would kick you. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wait, but I can still. Oh shit.
All right, go.
Yep.
Are you looking at my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, go over here to your channel, to YouTube Studio,
Okay.
and
go
it
to my channel.
should. You should have something in this area, kind of saying,
Fucking
"Hey,
stupid.
you got a strike" or something like that.
Where?
So click content and click live, and see if you have anything right here that says like bad stuff. And I think you might.
No, it
need
doesn't show
to-
anything. It just says live now. Do I have to remake the whole stream?
I'm wondering if you do.
It says live now. All right.
Do
I
you
don't feel like
have-
you have to.
Check your email. YouTube should have sent you an email.
No. Yeah, they didn't even. Those motherfuckers.
Okay, we're back. We're back.
We're back?
Yeah, we're back. Okay. Well, apologies.
So let's-
Apparently, the history.
And there goes Doc. Oh,
Yeah. I'm getting sniped
Uh-oh.
right now. I'm getting sniped by the feds. They don't want this information out. All
So
right, sorry about that.
So my guess is that we just went too long without actually discussing anything.
I guess, yeah, because I didn't get copyright struck, but I mean, regardless.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
You'll definitely need to let us know what the policy that they said you violated is.
Yeah, when they send it to me, they just took down my stream and didn't say anything. The turkeys are fighting back. Yeah, no shit. So we'll hold off on playing any more videos for now.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one,
Which I'm good with.
Longer to go.
Yeah.
Right.
So I do have a question for y'all. So this is a subterranean civilization that I guess had been lost for a long time. And so my question is, what are not necessarily on that one we were discussing, but on some of these other areas that are older than we had expected? What are the odds that it's just kind of another example of movement of the earth? So if you go to England, there are a bunch of archaeological digs that are like 7-8 feet deep, where they're digging up earth that has covered Roman mosaics. And the Romans were there in 100 AD. So is it not possible that some of these sites that are so far down that sometimes you hear people say something like, well, it's like 7,000, sorry, not 7,000. It's like 770 feet down. It has to be super old. But that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes the earth,
not if excavation happened.
Yeah. If you get 7 feet worth of earth in 1800 years, I mean, it wouldn't be crazy to think that in an area like Turkey, which I should have pulled this up before I started saying this, but I'm pretty sure is on a continental divide.
So the significance of Turkey and the whole area right there around, so you had like Egypt, and I don't know, Daimyo, if you have the map, but they called it the something zone. Shit. It was like the fertile zone, but it wasn't that. But it was basically,
Fertile Crescent.
That's it, the croissant.
Yeah.
Which is a tender subject around here. But
fuck you, bitch.
But yeah, so that area actually had it was luscious and green and fertile, and there you go. And to counter your point of possible like time just shifting things and misplacing things where we would logically assume them to be, is that there's more than just this site that point to the same timeline, in this region. You know what I'm saying?
That's the biggest. That would be my biggest argument too, is that they're finding more and more stuff dated around this time that we've only uncovered. I already highlighted that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, you little bitch. But yeah, so that's I'd have to agree with Dog on this, that A, we've only uncovered a few different sites, and B, we haven't even fully discovered them, So it's really
we barely
hard.
Scratch the surface.
I mean, but you could be right, I guess, in that thought process. But things like Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe, there's just too much to kind of go over. But let's maybe
may I pitch out the idea of like Randall Carlson and
no one said you had to watch, buddy.
Yeah, no one said you had to be here.
And Graham
Hancock
Hancock
out on this channel. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just
no, you're good.
Dressing Matt Risman. Yeah.
No, you're good. I was asking if I could possibly throw out Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock's thought process on why this doesn't line up with historical records or what we thought civilization began.
Yeah, no, you already know where I stand with this. I'm inclined to think, I'm inclined to agree, but it just doesn't add up that, and my fucking thing, I knew this was gonna happen. Sorry. I'm gonna have to exit out.
Because the subterranean city that could house upwards of 20,000 people is kind of interesting if the dates coincide with what we know or with what is referred to as the Younger Dryas impact theory. And if that were the case, the theory that's posed of why this doesn't fit in the timeline of the advancement of civilization that we know of is potentially there was a civilization that was already doing very well, but then a global cataclysm happened of comet or asteroidal impacts that knocked everybody back into the Stone Age. And if you were in these sophisticated places, which were most likely coastal cities that were wiped out by rapid sea level rise, but any survivors possibly could have gone to this region in Turkey and taught these people who tunneled because they knew the meteor showers were coming. You know,
yeah, and that's
perhaps they taught them, you know, architecture, and that explains Göbekli Tepe and basically kickstarting that civilization.
And that's definitely on the speculative side. I want to
Yeah, for sure.
To your point, though, I think it's even more compelling that they're saying around 11,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, that we were hunter gatherers, that there were no civilizations, that they weren't using tools to process stone, and more evidence is coming out in the past like 5-10 years that they're finding
that might have been wrong.
They're finding temples. They're finding these cities that are being dated back to then, since we now have the technology to actually pinpoint at least an area of time. And that's what really compels me, is like, how can you say we were hunter-gatherers and civilization, and that we were nomadic? You know, you can't really, the argument kind of like is lost for me when you say that we were like nomads and we were hunter-gatherers, and you're finding cities underground, and you're finding temples that are massive, you know, with really intricate stonework. It just, for me, it doesn't
that
matter.
Takes a massive workforce to accomplish in a fairly timely manner, potentially without domesticated livestock to assist. Like, hunter gatherers didn't, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many missing pieces that this new discoveries are pushing the needle back, and perhaps we were not just hunter gatherers at that time. There was pockets of people that could have been influenced by survivors of a cataclysm.
Yeah,
I think you got the idea that, and to what RG's saying right there is pretty much exactly what Dollar just said as well. But you know, you've got the whole chance that but this is kind of what I think. I think we're just off. I think history is just off a couple thousand years, and that it's more than likely that you ever see that meme of Irish history?
Irish history?
No. I don't know if it's still like this, but apparently, a while back, if you would go to the Ireland Wikipedia page, there'd be like inventions of Ireland, and like 600 AD is whiskey, and then there's nothing for like 1,000 years. And it's because they're all getting drunk.
Nice.
So what I think is very possible is that there's probably a period of time where we weren't really doing anything other than just living. Whether it was you'd have
surviving,
people in Turkey building their giant cities, and because archaeologists and scientists for 100 years ago to 20 years ago, we're always looking for progression to create the timeline. They came across the idea that, okay, well, clearly you have to, in order to fill in the timeline, we need new stuff. And today we're always trying to find new ways of doing things. So clearly they were doing that back then when, I think it's very possible there are probably 3,000-4,000 years where we were just like, I think we got it. I think we figured it out. There's no reason to progress past where we are. And I wouldn't necessarily say we become lazy.
Hold on.
But I think there's probably a decent chance where whichever group of humans we were had plateaued. And that's why that group no longer exists.
Could have also been a setback due to war and conflict.
But okay, my biggest
kind of halted that.
My biggest pushback to that argument is that it would make sense. It would make sense if we were off by maybe 1,000 years, 2,000 years. This is being pushed back. This is pushing back civilization more closer to 8,000-9,000.
So, but this is the thing: if we're off by 1,000 years each time. So
let's say
we carbon dated
an accumulative effect.
I can follow
let's say
that.
we carbon dated the bones that we took out, the pharaoh that traveled the world, 120 years ago. I forget which, Tutankhamun, I think. Let's say we carbon dated him in 1950. I'm just kind of throwing a date out there. And if we're off by 2,000 years when we did that, well, I don't think we've had the opportunity to carbon date him again, so we're still using that number. We know our carbon dating numbers from 50 years ago are wrong. So I think it's probably a decent chance that it's just a cumulative effect of, we dated this and then we dated this, and by our numbers they were 100, they were 1,000 years apart. But that actually means that if we carbon date them today, they're probably actually 3,000 years apart. I mean, you add that up, dude. That could easily get to 10,000.
So I just want to address this, Pilgrim. I can't tell if you're trolling and if you aren't.
No, he's trolling.
Okay,
he's trolling.
I was going to say I don't know what.
It's kind of like David. It's kind of like that thing that I was telling you about backstage. So I don't know if anyone knows, but most of the science we have on Alzheimer's, basically like 4 or 5 months ago, we found out that it's all basically lies, because an intern in Vanderbilt in like 2004 didn't want to be wrong about something, so she lied about everything, and all the files were distorted and the images were touched up, and so basically all the money that's been put into Alzheimer's in the last 20 years was worthless. Billions of dollars for no reason. And I think there's a very good chance that that's a similar thing that's happening today. And we know the Egyptian government won't allow people to do anything.
Thank you.
The history we have of Egypt, which doesn't make sense, because
it doesn't.
If you've got the opportunity to make Egypt the next interesting place to go, why wouldn't you do that?
So I think, and this goes back to what we were talking about backstage, I think there are multiple areas within Egypt that the people that are in the, air quotes, club, they don't want released to the public, because they would have to change I think science has gotten better, archaeology's gotten better, geology, right? So I think there are certain sites for instance, the Sphinx and the caverns below,
Sphinx.
where there are unexplainable situations. The Sphinx itself is an anomaly, and I think they don't want to go back on their word and create a distrust in the consensus itself, right?
They've wrote papers, they've made documentaries, they've published all these kind of books and everything, and they stake their name on it. And instead of being, for the progression of knowledge, new evidence had come to light. No. What I said reigns true, and it shall for the foreseeable future. Which I'm glad, Caleb, you circled this to Egypt, because what you were saying was making me think of that, is the superiority complex that academia has and that science has, and a lot of archaeologists about matters like this.
I want to just add on to that. I know you're aware of the guy's name, but Eric Weinstein, right? You know who he is? Yeah. So he is I forget what level of mathematician.
It's probably up there.
It's very up there. He created
ahead of us.
Math magician.
He created an equation, a formula that basically said there's not just like 4 or 5 dimensions. There's something like 14 dimensions, and he created this equation to solve that. And for like a decade, like all these mathematicians were like, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. They ended up kind of like, he went to a couple different conferences, spoke about it. They kept telling him he was wrong, and then they started to kind of puzzle together that he had, and it's multiple layers of mathematics that I'm too dumb to know. But they ended up basically stealing his formulas and then publishing it, and the guy who stole it won a Nobel Prize and like $8 million in funding. So it's not just in this realm, but this kind of like, if you're in the club of elites,
it's academia.
It's academia, and that's what he's saying.
I'm gonna push back on the term elites. It's academia. It's not necessarily, or at least it's not elites in the way that we hear
in their mind. They are
public discourse today,
right?
It's
the ones who write the textbooks.
Yeah, well, even beyond them, because the people that write, I could write a textbook. I mean, they're not, depending on the textbook. I mean, they're not they're not the tops.
Right, but that's what's taught, and that's what is propelled.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Through the next generations, you know.
Well, if they get through the damn textbook, how many textbooks did y'all get through in school?
Well, but they make it the curriculum. Damn, it's been a long day. My bad.
It's okay. I could do similar earlier.
So that was Somalia.
No, Somalia.
Yeah, level 2.
We going on a cruise?
Yeah,
Somalia.
So just to RG's point, I mean, that's essentially what this conversation is about. I subscribe to the possibility. I don't just subscribe to the speculation.
To the word.
Yeah. I think there's a possibility. I don't think that anything's proven yet or set in stone.
I like to go down the rabbit hole and explore the possibilities. Like, I mean, even the outlandish ones, or you might even be able to throw time travel out for why this doesn't make sense. I mean, if there's any kind of compelling evidence to it.
I don't want to lose Caleb. So if we start talking
here's the only reason time travel is just complete bumpkiss is because there's no one living in a crystal gold lined palace circling the world, pointing at us and telling us he's God. Because if time travel was real, there's a guy that would have come back by now to do it.
What if it's a modest person? My point is that is that I like to, if there's compelling evidence, to at least explore that and be open to it instead of just shut the door and shake my head at it. You know what I'm saying?
And I usually like to tell them not to even come up my driveway.
Right. Because, yeah, get off my lawn and such.
Hey, Mattoon, thanks for showing up, man. So do you think we I mean, we can should we go over the Göbekli Tepe articles, or should we just
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let me pull up my screen.
I actually kind of want to cover its sister starts with a K. Yeah, Karhan. Because that has the Room of Dicks.
Oh, I do.
Does it really?
Yes.
I do have.
Yeah, there's like 12 pillars that are all penises.
There's
Yeah,
3
well,
on
No,
this
I'm dead.
channel.
I'm dead serious. I'm not even kidding.
I know.
I'm not even kidding you.
I actually want to talk on that, but I need to use the
real quick,
restroom.
the
So
thing
you
we
guys hold it
just
down.
watched, the video that got the stream taken down for a bit.
Right.
Now I don't know if the chat saw it, but the bit that he was talking about those hieroglyphs.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I'm not sure I'd call 3 etchings on 3
mountain.
different walls hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
Like hieroglyphics are like multiple pictures on the same wall next to each other. I mean, there's requirements to be, because they're supposed to be language.
Yeah.
And so
that whole statement was a stretch to me.
Yeah.
It was a little much.
I think
what are also the odds that it's some jackass teenager back then that was just drawing random stuff on a wall?
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds of that? Because I think that's a possibility for some of this kind of stuff.
The thing that does make me interested is if we rewind 3,500 years ago, and hang on one second. Yeah, so if we rewind about 3,500 years ago, saying about kind of says it could be, let's say, 1279 BC to somewhere around 1213 BC. You've got people in the Turkey area talking about the Holy Mountain. Well, the Israelites are supposed to have left Egypt around that time and traveled past Turkey to get. Let me pull up a map to make sure I'm talking about the correct geography.
We'll share it so we can see.
Yeah, so this is the map that I have up. It'll do fine, but this was kind of with my idea about the plate tectonics thing. But so they're supposed to have left this area to go up near where they would have been talking about a holy mountain, and Sinai was a holy mountain. So it would be, I mean, that's a very interesting thing to think about, where you've got.
I just want to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
They had that hieroglyph. There's a hieroglyph that was found in during Kuyu that showed a powerful mountain, right?
Yeah, and that's what we were just talking about.
We were discussing that being a stretch anyway.
Yeah, so I think there's a big difference between hieroglyphics and 3 etchings on 3 different walls.
Yeah,
that may or may not be mountains.
In a house.
It's very hard. Yeah, it's very hard.
It just didn't really it's a stretch.
I agree.
Yeah,
It's a
it
stretch.
didn't sell to me.
Yeah, but it's a stretch that is semi-supported by stuff at the same time and in the same area. So it's not. I've heard worse stretches.
Yes.
Thanks, Pilgrim.
Yep. So Göbekli
troll.
Tepe, which is on a bit of a hill. Which, funny enough, Göbekli Tepe translates to belly hill.
I was gonna go there. I'm pretty sure it had something to do with the hill.
Yep.
Did you have anything else to add to that, or should we jump into the article?
I mean, you go ahead. More will come.
Just wait till you get to the dick room.
Yeah, I was like, God damn it, you're gonna egg on Pilgrim in chat.
Let's hop into that dick room. Wait,
bro.
Yeah, and actually they said it right here. So a limestone plateau near Urfa, called Göbekli Tepe, Turkish for Belly Hill. Schmidt discovered more than 20 circular stone enclosures. The largest was 20 meters across, or is that miles? No, that's meters. A circle stone with 2 elaborately carved pillars. Pause. The carved stone pillars, eerie. I'm not really sure what they mean by that. Stylish human figures with folded hands and fox pelt belts weighed up to 10 tons. Carving and erecting them must have been a tremendous technical challenge, blah, blah, blah. The structures were 11,000 years old. After a decade of work, Schmidt reached a remarkable conclusion.
T-shaped pillars too.
Yeah, T-shaped pillars. Stone tools and other evidence Schmidt and his team found at the site showed that circular enclosures had been built by hunter-gatherers. See, that's why would you build a structure? And I'm asking you two, like, what you guys think. I don't think a site like a megalithic site like this would be built by hunters and gatherers. What reason would they have if they were nomadic? Why would they build a temple?
Right.
So,
how would they have the resources to do so as well?
Y'all will know this more than I, but the last major ice age is supposed to be
12,000
years ago.
Yeah, this this 11,500 mark is right around.
So basically, just before this shit starts popping off.
Exactly.
So, I think what's possible is we're cyclical. People are cyclical. And I think what probably happened is we built shit. We ran out of shit in the area and kind of started becoming nomadic again. And the other thing is we know that Europeans, the people in Europe, that area were nomadic until about 3000 BC, I believe, is the date that we have pegged down for stuff in like what is it? Spain, and I think there's shit in Italy. I think that's about the time we've got pegged down for that. But I think it's probably more likely that people in Turkey needed to become what's the opposite of nomadic?
Civilized.
Non-nomadic.
Civilized, I would say.
I think it's possible that the Middle East
Stagnant.
needed to settle down quicker than the people in Europe. I think there's decent enough evidence to show that
sorry, it's just why I don't like that use of the word hunter gatherers is because I actually agree with what you're saying. Like, yeah, that could be a possibility, but then they need to go back on their word at that point. Like, they can't say civilization as a whole started 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, when in fact there were parts of the world that was starting to civilize at that time. And that's my biggest issue with it. And also, even if you had groups that were nomadic around that time and one group stayed back to build this stuff, they didn't have, I mean, even to this day, it's a huge feat to carve out a mountaintop. Like, we're not even doing that. We're just making concrete bricks.
Well, we're
It
making boom.
It was also carved into, well, maybe not Göbekli Tepe, but one of its sister sites, only a few kilometers away, was carved into bedrock.
Well, no, that's similar with Göbekli Tepe, and they're uniform pieces. These they weren't stones gathered from a different area. They were carving into bedrock and forming the shape of these mounds, or these pillars, and the different etchings on them, and there's like lizards and stuff, and lions, I think, that are
leopards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's just my biggest issue with the whole hunter gatherer thing. I really don't like. I don't think it makes sense given the consensus of the science and history right now.
There's also historically, if you could reel back the time, like we said, the Fertile Crescent, it's a prime ground for civilization to flourish.
Well, I mean, that is
if you could sustain a population. Yeah.
Okay, so because we're on this paragraph's actually pretty interesting. Carving and moving the pillars would have been a tremendous task, but perhaps not as difficult as it seems at first glance. The pillars are carved from natural limestone layers of the hill's bedrock. Limestone is soft enough to work with flint or even wood tools available at the time, given practice and patience. And because the hill's limestone formations were horizontal layers between 0.6 meters and 1.5 meters thick, archaeologists working at the site believe ancient builders just had to cut away the excess from the sides rather than from underneath as well. Once a pillar was carved out, they shifted in a few hundred meters across the hilltop using rope, log beams, and ample manpower. So I guess some of the pillars were brought in, but they do say that it was carved into the bedrock, which, that's very difficult. My pushback to this is what's offered, like, because I know I've watched a couple of videos on the actual process of that, and do you remember Star Wars Dog, the process of how they said it like they were cutting these stones with? I think it was like a chisel effect, right?
It's flint, yeah.
It was a chisel effect though, right?
Right, yeah.
Well, some of these pillars are 10 tons. Like, so for a nomadic person or a group of people to sit there and try to chisel out these massive pillars, it's not adding up historically and physically.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. Mind. It's not easy for sure.
What if we were stronger?
Oh, we definitely were. This day and age, we definitely were stronger. But
I mean, just so we're talking about Tepe. I'm not trying to move the conversation, but if we were stronger, that would also may also add a
slight element of ease to it.
Well, that would change the equation when looking at things like the pyramids. If we were stronger, so today, let's say pulling and pushing a 2-ton block, I don't know, 10 by 10 by 10 of limestone takes 100 people pulling and 20 people pushing. If we were stronger, it's possible that could have been 50 and 5. Now, obviously, you'd have to actually figure out and do the math and all that stuff. I'm just making
Right,
Sure. I'm
but
following.
I think there's a great possibility that because we already know that we are weaker than we were like 150 years ago. It's a small amount.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you want to
that
compare us to
number over-
chimps with how dense and strong they are,
Yeah, I mean, compound that number over 12,000 years. And I think there's
you
a
might be
decent
onto
chance-
something.
I'm not saying our ancestors were superhuman. There
Of
weren't
course
no
not. They're
Superman.
Homo sapiens. They
But I think
think two sapiens squared.
I think there's a decent chance that we are not the same people that were building that shit 12,000 years ago.
Well, I've worked. Sorry, go on.
Oh, no. I was going to say maybe they were inbred, so they had a little extra strength too. But
That's the inbred. I thought you were going to say like, they had Neanderthal.
Can you?
They were closer to Neanderthal. Sorry,
remind me about that later, will you? When we're backstage.
Okay. 10-4.
So I was going to say, like, I've worked landscaping. I'm not great at geology. What constitutes bedrock? I'm actually kind of interested in that.
So bedrock is the dense layer of the crust. So you've got that. Yeah, this'll.
Is that Minecraft?
Open.
No, that might be Minecraft.
I should probably use this one. That wasn't Minecraft, by the way.
Oh, okay. It looked like it.
It did.
I'm sure. Let's zoom in here a bit. Okay, so you've
bedrock
got
is
humus,
so that's
topsoil, subsoil.
Yeah, that's what we see every day.
Okay,
subsoil is what you dug to when you were a kid.
Okay, dude, I'm gonna have to tell you right now. Working landscaping, I've probably dug into subsoil. That shit is hard as fuck.
Well, it also depends on where you are. So our subsoil here in South Carolina is very easy to get to. Like it's easy because it's clay.
To get to. Okay, but I'm dealing with clay.
Clay is South Carolina clay. It's red clay. Red clay is easy to dig through. Then
Have you dug through it?
Clay.
Have you dug through it though?
Yeah.
Because I have red clay. It's not that easy, bro.
Yeah. It also depends on how much rain you have. All that. There's so many things that
to get through all of this though. Well, but we also out here in California, I'm actually in the Mediterranean zone. So in terms of climate zones, we're technically sub-Mediterranean to Mediterranean area, which means the soil is very similar to the soil in Turkey. And so, like, I'm telling you, once you get down to the clay and the rocks, you make maybe in an hour a few inches working with hand tools without a drill, without a huge machine. So it might be vastly different out in South Carolina, but I know working in a sub-Mediterranean area, which means that if this is Mediterranean, it's even harder to dig through at that point. Physically.
Well, and then I bring up my other point of earth movement.
Of what?
Earth movement. So
erosion too.
Yeah.
I was going to say
12,000 years ago, what did the Turkey floor look like?
Very good point. Very good point.
Also, go back to the Tepe is on a hill. Erosion could have played a factor, and a lot of the rock was already exposed.
Ooh, so that's a good question. How many of these sites, like Tepe, are on hills? Are the so obviously
most of them.
The underground one isn't. But if the other ones are on hills, that shows
it could be a correlation
ability
there
of knowing hill easy to build on. Hill have
plus we also Plus, we also established in Turkey that a lot of the rock underneath, although Göbekli Tepe is a lot of what'd you say, limestone there?
Yeah.
But we know in not very far away in Turkey, there's the tuff, which is like hardened volcanic ash. So it's actually
It's actually
fairly malleable. So
pumice, essentially.
yeah, so I mean, you kind of it might not have been such a horrible thing, but when they hit limestone, they're like, "Oh, this shit'll last." Ting, 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 ting.
Yeah,
you know?
but so my issue with this though is even if they had multiple people on there, it still goes against the whole hunter-gatherer thing. If they had many people working on this one site,
of course,
it does not make sense and line up with what our
no.
Yeah,
what is
I
known.
think the best explanation of that is either a cyclical society where we the earth thawed out, everyone started making cities, and then I think something happened.
I agree.
Think probably around 9,000 BC something happened, and that's why Europe started being hunter-gatherers again. Or maybe
like it knocked them backwards.
We do, and the reason it's called the cradle civilization is because we know that everything basically came out of the Mediterranean. So you had the Europeans were the people that went north from Iraq, and Africa was the people that went south from Iraq, because you've got cities in Iraq, not Iraq. You've got cities in Africa that are older than they're older and more advanced than early cities in, and I use the word city loosely. And they're older and more advanced than early cities in Europe, but Africa plateaued while Europe increased. So I think what probably happened is everything was really cold and wet in the north, and we stayed in the middle for a long time, and then eventually, whether it was religious differences, race differences,
War,
species differences, or trying to find more stuff to eat, I think that's what caused people to spread out.
Well, I think climate and the ability to obtain and sustain fire, because if you were in Europe in that kind of time frame, you were not going to survive the winter unless you can constantly have a fuel source and fire.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
So let's.
Some interesting stuff.
It is. I really like this subject because it's not. It's more speculation than it is conspiracy stuff as of right now.
Oh yeah, I saw somewhere as well that one of the pillars weighs up to 16 tons. So we must have been real strong.
Right. I don't know him from Adam, but I can tell you right now, he's not coming on here.
No, not yet. Definitely not yet. He hasn't even made it on the series. He does
a lot of YouTube stuff.
Oh yeah. But yeah.
He's the one that does the ancient things with Gary,
Graham Hancock.
Right? Graham, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He's a little bit bigger than Gary. He's been on Joe Rogan.
He's like a Santa Claus.
But
type.
I know someone whose goal is to be on Joe Rogan.
I do too. Let me pull up one of his messages.
His essays.
Yeah, one of his exceptions. So
wait, let me see that one.
I think we talked about this.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. No, I think that's definitely a possibility. I'm not sure I would necessarily say I believe it, but I think it's incredibly likely.
Matt Tween, I'm not sure how much you've listen to him, but like he's a legitimate geologist. He's not one of these guys that like us, reads a couple articles and likes to talk about it.
I think he's an easy listen as well.
He is. He's a teacher.
Yeah, a good one.
They let him around kids.
Yep. Who? Randall Carlson?
I'm just.
I was gonna say he's a legitimate teacher. Yeah, of course. And he actually is very like he knows a lot about sacred geometry and stuff, which is like the math behind it, not just like the spirit. He barely touches the spiritual side of it, but goes into like how to use the Pythagorean theorem to calculate sacred geometry. Super interesting. But as I digress, let's get into this Karahan Tepe article. And then from there,
okay. Here we go.
From there,
here we go.
We can really start to speculate. So,
is this the dick thing?
Well, yes. Okay. So let's just, since we're on that, it's not just here in Turkey that they have statues, or basically statues with like either depictions of holding the. Okay, hold on. Before we really get into this.
Oh, look at this. Look at that. Here, look at this. Oh, look at this. Would you look at this? Oh, would you look at that?
Son of a
look
bitch.
Who decided to show up. You're only
scroll my article.
You're only about you don't get to come in and start talking shit. Hold on.
He's an hour and 40 minutes late.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're
half an hour early.
And I stole his article, but you know what?
Damn.
Thank you for the warning. I was ready for him, but it's much easier if the cops do it. Don't we agree?
Fuck you.
Well placed. Well placed.
So I feel like I think we're owed an explanation.
We are. Do you have the floor, Rolo?
Whose poll were you smoking?
No, wait. I got a message for this one too. You're gonna get ripped on for the next 5 minutes. Oh yeah. Let me just find it. Rolo eats corn the long way.
No, I fucking don't.
No, I don't.
I'm not fucking
mean. You guys are being mean.
What do you think, Antonio?
Show up on time and we won't be mean.
All right, buddy. How you doing? Are you ready to offer something for us?
Yeah, hold on. Check private chat in a second.
All right.
Clearly not ready.
So where I was going with that is
all my articles up, Caleb. Fuck off.
Is that what you're spending the last hour and 40 minutes doing?
No, it's not. That's why I'm saying check private chat.
So it's not just in Turkey, but they found a statue in Indonesia that depicts the graphic and phallic image of the genitals being shown, and there are statues in what's it called? What are you laughing at? The way I said that?
No, dog.
I was trying to be discreet.
For his cereal. He also wipes before he poops.
Oh my god.
I don't put milk in my cereal, to be honest.
You eat it dry, you psychopath?
Yes, I do.
That's even worse.
I don't like being timed to eat my cereal before it turns to mush.
He brushes his teeth before putting on toothpaste.
That's right. He's so tough. He eats a bowl of nails in the morning with no milk.
He swallows before he chews.
He swallows before she comes.
Yeah. No, I just don't brush my teeth. I skip that part.
He puts his socks on before the rest of his clothes.
He cooks his steak before he seasons it.
Fuck that.
Oh, God. That's just wrong.
Yeah, it is. Don't eat corn the long way.
The long way.
You guys not know what that's from?
Okay. Speaking of the wrong way and phalluses,
Let me
let's
finish the thought process though first. Okay, so it wasn't just in Turkey. They found a statue similar in Indonesia. They also have stuff in the Mayan culture in South America, and I want to say parts of Europe, but I'm not gonna die on that hill. But point being is that I think this culture that we're not really sure of yet had like there's something to do with fertility and like yeah, I think
100%.
fertility has something to do with the gods that they worshipped and these different figures that they built.
Well, I think that's evident in you were talking about the Mayan one. That's evident in the religions down there where there was so much importance placed on virginity, where they would capture cities and they would find the virgins and they would kill the virgins because they thought it was a godly and important thing.
I'm sorry they came after you, Caleb.
And I think that's just I think it just goes to show that there was this importance placed on not necessarily sex, but the tools of it, if that makes sense.
Well, no, it does. And well, before Rolo says it, the place Chaco that he wanted to talk about so bad, they that culture actually like died. They think it died out because they sacrificed all their women and their virgins because there was a drought throughout that area, and they're thinking that they had similar statues there, like I was talking about before, and they're thinking that during this drought that they killed them off, and that caused a decline in the population and so forth.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Take the table, take it away, guys. I gotta use the restroom.
Well, Rollo, what do you have to say?
Okay.
About what?
Well, we haven't heard from you yet. What do you have to say about all this?
Well, this is an article I was going to go into.
Okay, so go into it.
Well, pitter patter.
Let's get at it.
I can't scroll.
That doesn't matter. We'll scroll later. Tell us about it.
Tell you about that?
Yes, tell us. This is the article about the penis statues. Tell us about the penis statues.
It's not about the penis.
How many are there?
About the similarities between something in the like United States and North America that's also very similar to something in Turkey.
Okay.
And which didn't have had any relations at all, yet they're creating the same exact things.
God, what if the... Sorry, I just had a thought.
Well, I think it's older than we think it is, and the land bridge had something to do with that. Or
Possibly.
maybe some form of Great Flood.
But now the issue with the land bridge thing is most of those similarities are the similarities tend to end as you get further away from the land bridge. So like right here, that's great right there. So the similarities of people in is that
where? Siberia.
Okay, the one below it.
Beringia. Yeah, Beringia.
So the similarities between area stuff you find in Beringia and Siberia tends to disappear the further south you go.
So I have a quick question because I'm not actually versed on this very much. So they're thinking that the land bridge was a glacier during the Ice Age?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're thinking it is probably a glacier, but we don't know that because of the way that, all these continents have changed so many times. Like, they're thinking it's a glacier, but let's be honest. No matter what answer we come up with, we have no full-on idea that that's what it is.
Well, right. Yeah, but if
dog.
But the thing is that if it wasn't a glacier, we would have found some sort of evidence of land masses.
Not necessarily.
Why not?
because of the way that the crust moves, that could have been eaten up by a different piece of crust. Over that course of time, the United States does not look the same, and North America does not look the same as it did back then.
But
Well,
the
that has to do
problem
with water
is
levels,
that
too.
the right
Yeah,
side,
sea level.
the
Sea
right
level and
side of Russia is on the same plate as North America, so it wouldn't have been eaten up by
our meager knowledge as humans that we believe to be true.
Yeah.
We like to think we know all this stuff about history when none of us were recording history at the time.
We kind of discussed this already. Yeah, let's not digress. Go on, Caleb. You're going to make a point before I interrupted you about.
Did you interrupt me?
I did, unless you forgot your point already.
No, I was just talking about how the creation of civilizations in the Americas based off of the land bridge theory works because the evidence of crossing stuff we found in Washington is a lot more similar to stuff that we find in the right
South
side
America.
of Russia than it is in Texas, because as they moved, they changed the way they did things. So if
divergence from the groups,
penis style thing, penis statues things.
I have a theory I have a theory.
I'm sure you got a bunch of theories about those.
Are the theories the wide way or the long way?
The all the way.
Yeah.
What are you doing accent the other day?
I think poured his cream
Pour his
before his
cream
coffee.
into his coffee first.
Some psychopathic stuff. All right, now we're getting derailed. Thanks, Rolo.
Sorry. Just let's
I
move on.
didn't derail you. The chat did.
Okay, so my theory for this phallus room that has 12 statues of penises in it and one head protruding out from the wall overlooking them. Yes, is that what if it was orgy chamber?
I would not
for
be
fertility
surprised at all.
No, that would make
and
sense.
even if it wasn't, it was probably used that way sometimes.
Because again,
or what if each phallus represents a leader, and that's why some are shorter and some are longer?
Yeah, dude, I don't know why you're screaming what you're looking up. Do you have any idea how dumb that is?
Dude, I was so nervous for a second. I was like, oh no, what am I going to look up? I think I found it, though. Is this it?
Damn. Yeah, that's it. That's it right there.
So
that's the old dick room.
The old dick room.
Yes.
The old dick room.
Ye old dick room.
You know, it's been a while since I've seen mine, but it doesn't look anything like those.
Well, yours isn't eroded from rain and wind and such.
Well, no. So
but
my question is, how do we know that's what those are supposed to be?
That's what multiple people claim.
This one,
but there's also
there's
also carvings of penises all over.
I'm being honest. Like they look
circumcised for
they
sure.
look circumcised. So like, if it is supposed to be penises, then
they
have circumcision.
This head is sus, by the way.
Well,
yeah, he's just staring at them.
That's not a bad point to make. If
that might be their deity or something.
If they're supposed to be 12,000 years old, then
were they circumcising back then?
Am I wrong on the year?
Surely somebody wasn't getting their good knife for them.
Yeah, circumcision wasn't a thing outside of the Israeli culture until like
Abraham, right?
Well, yeah, Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, and that is the first circumcision. And so, but outside of the Jewish faith, circumcision wasn't a thing until 65 AD, after Paul's letter to
okay.
the Ephesus church.
I'm going to bring this back to your point that, hey, look, maybe
Erosion.
but I guess we were talking about BC, not AD at that point. I was going to say it could have been that whole time. You know, you're talking about how time gets lost in history type of thing, but that's way too long. We're talking 6,000.
I think the better example is there's probably something that's been eroded.
I think they've all been eroded. If you look at that one that's on the bottom right,
it's been rubbed off by the wind and the rain. You know,
rubbed out.
Yeah, it's been rubbed out.
Well, does that one not almost look like the head of a horse or a dog,
Mr. Hands?
But it could be eroded.
You're welcome, Pilgrim.
Oh, that one. I don't know what that one is.
This looks like Mr. Hands.
That's a deformity if I ever seen one.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that's definitely not like a penis.
Well, it looks like there's almost an archway or a ceiling in here.
I mean, I knew a guy that they called old 9 Iron because he.
He had a little.
I mean, this whole area looks bricked up, if you ask me.
Well, so that's something that you just said, Damio. If this is supposed to be a ceiling, then those could very easily be support.
I really do think that
columns.
Look, they're all at the same level. So even if they have, and they're all kind of flat at the same level.
They're not actually. Like, find another picture. They're not the same height.
Before you change pictures, that second one from the left.
This one?
Yes. Does that not look like the face of a goat on top?
Well, to me, it looks like a snake head.
That too. Well, it actually could look like
a snake head to me.
That almost went right past me for a second.
I was gonna say, damn dog.
I'm shocked because it got me instantly.
No, that looks like. All jokes aside, that looks like
it does.
Two eyes and a nose.
Yeah. I thought you actually meant a snake.
No, I was trolling. I was trolling Rolo, but actually, it does look like a snake. But also, that's so hard to tell. Like that could just be. To me, I also see fragments of a potential ceiling that sat above here, and that this was the support above the phallic.
How random and weird.
Is it though? Is it random?
Yeah, like they're not evenly spaced or anything like that.
I disagree. Can you go back to it real quick?
Yeah, no problem.
Get a different one.
So
this one, okay, this is much more clear.
Yeah, especially with that little thing on the top.
That is a big old dick right there.
Yeah, that's
this. Yeah, that is. This looks like erosion from a ceiling to me.
Yeah. If you look at that other one, the other photo, I'm commenting on Dog talking about the alignment. If you look at where this guy's standing and taking this photo, it's pretty clear that the front two. I'm thinking of this as the left side is the front and the right side's the back.
Okay.
Those front two.
Those are definitely
off. Move yourself in a way. Those front two are clearly lined up. The next row or the next columns are lined up, and then this one down here at the bottom in the middle that you can only see the head to the right, Daimio. That one, and the one in front of it. Those are clearly lined up.
These two are lined up.
The one for
okay, I see what you're saying.
Cut off in the photo,
and also you can't see it. But I'm not necessarily believing that this is a pillar. I think this might be the back side of a face.
Which would make sense because look at the extra space.
One
in between,
2, 3,
right.
And I think there's a pillar we're not seeing right here, which would be 4. And then I think this is a middle statue.
Yeah,
that's how I would view it.
I agree.
There's probably an entrance.
Dude, could you
find another image?
I will, but could you imagine a bunch of fire? This is all closed off, and everyone's taking mushrooms and just pounding each other.
Have you ever seen the Da Vinci Code?
And then to Rolo's point, this is just a big fat orgy room, or was that Dog's point?
It was Dog's point.
Yeah, this is just
That
a
was
big
my
fat orgy
theory.
room. There's people in the
Yeah,
background.
get that one.
Theory.
Oh yeah, shit, get that one.
That's not how you do it.
Well, no. Trying to figure out which. Wait, go back. I want to see what image you were looking at. Do that again.
Let's probably scroll down farther.
Yeah. Is it that? No.
Nah, it's not that one. Oh, bottom left or middle
This?
and the left, maybe.
This?
Yeah, I think that's it.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
Is it?
We thought. Is this it?
That's what I. Yeah, that's the picture I had.
It's not as oriented as we thought, and I was wrong about this part.
Correct.
I was definitely wrong about this part.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
See,
I want to bring up though.
we're behind the
That's
face, the
weird.
snakehead.
Perspective is so different from that picture.
I want to bring
Right.
up.
Well, we're behind the snakehead, so.
I want to bring up though. This makes me even more inclined to think that there is some sort of a ceiling.
Yep.
What the hell? Nikki joined at the worst time.
Yep. Yeah. Shit. Fuck me.
It's like they she caught us in a room full of dicks.
It is.
It's not always like
So
this.
this is the
Hi,
ancient
Nikki.
sausage fest room that just to catch her up.
Yes.
Yeah, this is an ancient sausage fest that we're looking at right now.
I want to know what the entrance to the room was.
I mean, it's hard to tell. But my point I was gonna bring up is if you notice, this is all carved into the bedrock, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
rooms were not set.
Never mind. Not gonna say it.
Oh God.
But
all right.
I'm inclined to think this was closed off at one point. I don't think this was like any type of structure.
But I don't actually see an entrance, so I feel like it was open.
Maybe
Okay,
it's
but
like
there
a-
could have been
And perhaps the ladder broke and they weren't able to get the top of that one.
There could have been a wooden ladder that was in here at some point. And like over here, they could have had stairs that eroded away over time.
Yeah.
But you have to keep in mind too, this was excavated. So stuff was damaged.
Right, it was-
definitely stuff was damaged when they were digging everything up.
Right. Wasn't this site actually intentionally buried that they believe?
Nikki, I would go.
It is kind of a circle. You're right.
Thanks for the support, Caleb.
What the fuck, Caleb?
I've never heard you say that on your stream.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually pretty sure I've said that before.
Maybe Nikki is interested in ancient civilizations.
I didn't really think she was interested in the circle jerks we were talking about.
It was a deep swimming pool.
I mean, it could have been water there. Who knows?
It could certainly get some wet.
I don't know about a swimming pool. I think it's hard to say though.
I don't know. You ever seen those dudes in the woods just making swimming pools randomly?
Well, and
Yes.
so beyond
that.
the fact that they're not digging in, that they're digging in clay.
Yeah,
That stuff's a great example of why you don't need power drills and chisels, steel chisels and stuff like that to make these great things.
Also, do you not think they cut away and the excavator comes in and takes a bunch of scoops and then they cut the video back on? Like,
That's
I mean,
what I think. That's what
hope
I'm
not.
saying.
No, they cut the video. They got exposed apparently like a year
No,
ago.
straight up. Something when I was looking into Göbekli Tepe, why they've stopped the excavation is because in order to dig further, they need to like destroy what they found. So they're not really sure what to do at this point. So that's actually a very fair point.
Why do they have to destroy
also,
it?
Because it's going to collapse on itself if they don't.
Oh.
So to like uncover deeper, because that's why they only have 10% dug up right now, roughly. Because if they start digging deeper, it'll collapse on itself, and then they have to excavate everything they've excavated now. So
And
it's
it'll end up destroying some of the stuff we could look at like this.
Well, what about
Right.
like ground penetrating radar? Would that?
So LiDAR, we still aren't.
Maybe.
We still like LiDAR is roughly new within the past 20 years. It's still not accurate.
But I don't know if that would penetrate bedrock, especially if it's surrounded by other sediment.
Well, that rock all the way on the left is definitely penetrating something.
Oh, nice.
It is. That's the closest one to it, you know.
Jeez. Yeah, I appreciate the creeper snakehead just watching.
But here's the thing: if you look at the tops of each of these pillars, they all are rounded on top, right?
Well, they look cut off. Some of them look like this got cut off, this got cut off.
Yeah,
Well,
but
you know,
but
sometimes
if you look at the two on the left.
It's 2023, Caleb. This was
It's
way
cleanliness.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was way back before then.
So those two on the bottom left, not that one. That's the head. Those two. So that almost looks like the same thing that we've seen in other structures in Turkey.
Well,
Where
I'll tell you what. This looks like something else.
yeah, it does. That's what I'm saying. But
well,
if you look at the structure on top of that, how it's rounded, think about the other caves that we've seen where they have this, they're rounded, almost like multiple domes. Like they look like the inside of the Vatican, but like, you know, how it's all domed in multiple areas. I could see that. I could see in between the left and the right pillar, that's domed. In between the middle and that triangle right there, those three is domed.
Welcome to the Hall of Peen.
So I'm shocked no one said this yet, but okay. The weird one in the middle.
The snake one?
Yeah.
No,
No,
this
go
one.
to the other one against the wall.
This guy?
No. To far left, top left.
This one.
That.
Yeah,
Is that not like a giant hole bored into?
Yeah, but that could have been damage. I don't know. I was thinking
my
about
question
that.
is,
it could be a furnace.
yeah. Well, no. So
Whoa.
when I first saw it, my thought was, is this a like drilled in hole through? That's all the way through. So what would the purpose of that be?
I think potentially it was like a vein of some kind of like shell material or something, and it just kind of fell out.
It could be that, but it also
You think
could
it was like a thick
be-
vein, or?
Damn, I didn't even consider that.
my
Good one.
So one thing
Oh,
I want to
Jesus.
bring to your attention, if we start here, because this is where the perspective begins. What do you guys think about this ridge?
I'm thinking that if it wasn't a ceiling, then it's very similar to Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they walk into that place where with the ark at the end of the movie. It looks pretty similar to this, but I mean, I also don't know. This can't be that big because look, what is that? Is that pillows or sandbags?
They're probably sandbags. So here's the thing. This
This has to have been
location is another multi-leveled thing, correct?
I mean, obviously something there was a mudslide here at some point. You can see that on the top.
Not
right.
obviously. Dude, that could have just been like they excavated this out and dumped all the rocks there. It's not obvious.
I mean, yeah, but the way that the walls are, that's water. That's erosion. You can even see it on those cracks that are on the other sides. Like that crack right there below the rocks.
Wait, what nonsense are you arguing?
I'm not. That's erosion. So this has been open for a little while.
Yeah.
Like, or water has flowed through here. Those
No, I 100% agree with that.
Those walls.
This part right here, I agree with that too. But I mean, dude, if they had a split there and it rained for a few days, like it.
No, it wouldn't work that way. It would have to be over a large period of time for all of these walls to be
the
that
issue with that, Rolo.
That's just hilarious.
Oh, yes, I agree.
It does look like that in New England.
So the issue with that is if erosion had gotten to this, the fucking snakehead wouldn't be rough. It would be rounded as shit.
Not entirely.
Yeah,
true.
this was buried. So
that's kind of my point. Is like
but
I don't.
even if it was buried, obviously water.
It was.
Why would they dig that out though? But that's my point. This could just be a crack, and it was just loose soil that got washed down.
I mean, I wish I could show you what I'm talking about. That middle one right up there. That's erosion.
Which middle one? This one?
That one.
This one?
Lower. That pillar right there. Those cracks in that's erosion. That's from water.
Could it?
Okay, I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
because I
agree.
The water didn't get. I've studied
the water
erosion.
Didn't get high enough to erode.
Not if it was an aquifer. Not if water ended up running through here at some point.
I don't think this is. I think this is too
like
high
a little
to be
pond.
Exactly.
Huh.
Exactly, dog, and it's flowing out from a
Could
different
be,
direction.
and which would
Interesting.
Which would completely,
I'm saying that would be
take
after.
away
Create the tip.
I'm saying this would be after these people were here.
Yeah, I did this too. I just
like
what if it was a training course?
Yeah, it's a really crappy training course for Avatar Last Airbender.
For whom? Again, this was in the Fertile Crescent. So let's keep that in mind.
Nikki's like, where is this place and how can I find it?
You said it, not.
I'm fucking with her.
Jeez.
But seriously, I think
that's enough on the dick room, right?
I think it's something.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I just picture the head poking out, kind of like a Mace Windu figure saying, have a seat,
Kind of like him.
Erosion equals shrinkage.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I don't think we even touched the article yet.
Nikki's like, it's rough.
All right. Archaeologists in Turkey have uncovered nearly 11,000-year-old statue that may depict a giant man clutching his penis. Great.
Clutching.
Along with a life-size wild boar statue. The two statues come from the neighboring sites of Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe, which are among the oldest temple sites in the world. The wild boar statue, which was carved from limestone, was found at Göbekli Tepe and dates between 8,700 BC and 8,200 BC. It measures at 4.4 feet long and 2.3 feet high. The German Archaeological Institute said in a statement, archaeologists detected red, black, and white pigments on its surface, indicating the sculpture was once painted. That's pretty interesting.
That makes sense, though. That's pretty cool.
Archaeologists unearthed the large sculpture of the Manat, right? Manat, the site of Karahan Tepe, about 22 miles from Göbekli Tepe.
From the Jade. Mad Twin.
What did he say?
Oh shit,
man! I thought this was going to be a serious stream.
Well,
I mean, this was serious for like the first half, and then Dog wanted to talk about Karahan Tepe.
I didn't carve the room of phalluses.
No, where we were coming, like, there's multiple like ruins that have statues depicted like this. I mean, honestly, so I think really they were praising like the gods of fertility. Because let's be honest, like back then, how many miscarriages did they have without modern medicine?
I'm sure.
How many babies died right when they were actually birthed? How many children died? I think it's as funny as it is,
childbirth.
You had to, right?
So it makes sense that these older civilizations would, make statues and build a religion around the like fertility and whatnot.
Well, I think even going a little far beyond that, because as much as we like to think about it, childbirth has not. I mean, it wasn't like back here. Now, there are time periods of history where one of the reasons why you had a lot of kids is because you eventually lost a lot of those kids. So you wanted to have a bunch of kids. But before that, we're talking before like the Dark Ages, so like 800 AD and before. Childbirth wasn't some like miracle that you survived. I think one of the reasons we see a lot of these fertility religions crop up is for the same reason that we still use the phrase "the miracle of childbirth." That there's a realization that just having a child come out of you is crazy.
That just happened.
Yeah, but you know what? There is something to say about life back then, like to what you just previously said, that to have many children is a blessing back then, because then you had just more hands on deck. Like, let's be honest. Like,
no, it really was. You needed a workforce. Serfs had a bunch of kids because he needed a workforce.
I mean, after all, children are basically slaves.
Fuck me. Jesus.
Oh my God.
Well, I got a point.
She could have said it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not wrong though.
I mean, we're getting close to the end here. We've pretty much covered everything that we needed to for the Middle East. Do you guys have any speculation as to if the underground cities of Durian-Kuyu and
Daimyo,
what's up?
You need to pull up the bottom half of that statue in this article.
And which did I miss something?
Up towards the top.
Why?
Just
so at the top. Well, this is educational. Yeah. So that's only the top half of it.
Nikki,
so you need the whole thing.
This is in Turkey.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if I can find that. Actually, I did see it.
I'll be honest, we found it the other day. So
Karahan Tepe statue. Yeah, you can find it.
I'm gonna look this up without.
Yes, yeah, you've
Indeed.
learned from your mistakes.
Smart man. We did already have the stream taken down once today, so that's a interesting goal that you've achieved.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel proud.
Yeah, I have
History Channel coming at you.
And that was before all this phallic talk.
Indeed.
Is the stream still going?
Long and hard, Caleb. It is going long and hard.
Long and hard.
I don't know. I'm not seeing this statue.
Jeez. Well, if you want a full screen, maybe I'll hold this up.
Yeah, just full. Oh no, let's try to find it. Just send me the
image.
Yeah, take the image, copy and paste that link.
It's on my tablet. I can't send it to you. I don't have you on here at all.
You don't have Discord on there?
No, I haven't put it on there yet.
Hold on, let me try to find it.
Dog, isn't that statue about 6 meters high? Or is it something like that?
Maybe
3 meters. I know it's a number like 3.
Because I'm working, Sundowners. That's why.
It's not popping up.
It is.
Well, this is one from Göbekli Tepe. Maybe it's similar. I don't know if this will help.
That looks wild.
Yes,
that is similar. It's similar to it. It's different though.
Hey, what's up, Sundowners?
Hey.
Are there snakes on the thighs?
Dude,
I don't think those are. Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
That looks like sperm.
Yeah, they are.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even messing around.
They're snakes.
Okay.
That looks like
this
sperm.
Is the thing, though. There's no way in hell they knew what sperm looked like.
But then again, there's so many different pictures of that. Why does that snake not have eyes?
See,
what do you
Nikki
mean?
agrees with me.
Got eyes.
That doesn't look like a snake.
What are you talking? Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't. Not a snake that would be around.
Yeah, I agree. It is reminiscent of totem poles.
That 100% looks like a snake.
Yeah, it's a snake.
Slightly above it looks more like a snake than that does.
There are a couple of totem poles that closely resemble Native American style in this region of Turkey, which is super weird and interesting.
Do we know if they're in the same sense where the stuff on the bottom is the more important than the ones on the top?
I didn't come across anything that looks at them that deeply, but it could be the case. I mean, you got that right there. Is you have the meat grabber down towards the bottom, so maybe there's something to it.
Yeah, but when you think about that, you have that next to two things that look very similar to sperm.
They're not sperm.
I don't care what you think they may or may not be. This is
It's a snack.
Speculation. What I'm saying is
they cannot be sperm because there's no way
you don't know
hell they knew what sperm looked like.
You can't prove or disprove that.
Bro,
Caleb,
we didn't know what sperm looked like until 90 years ago.
What's up, Valiant?
Caleb, maybe we were stronger and we could also see at a microscopic level.
We could see it. Okay, sure. Not only were we stronger, but we saw at microscopic levels.
Nikki, that's a high possibility that happened.
They still couldn't see it.
You don't know.
A puddle of shit.
We cannot prove or disprove that they had a way or they didn't have a way of seeing that. We don't know.
I mean, you're right, but still, this is like there's common sense to discussion in this kind of stuff, and
I understand that.
Sure.
Common sense says
playing devil's advocate here. That's a man touching his penis with two things that look like cum right next to him. Like,
okay, so this has been fun.
No.
Oh God! Even chat's taking a turn.
No, that's their intention. That's their intention.
It's that the face is destroyed
Right.
on that one.
You guys missed all the serious topics. Of course, he's coming in right when we're talking about dick statues.
Well, it's weird that I wish the face was on top and not knocked off like it obviously was, because I want to see what the other half of the statue was trying to do. Because almost looks like stretching.
Rolo, I'll give you some advice. You shouldn't be too worried about the face. Beauty is just a light switch away.
And it would matter.
Hey, Rolo, make sure to jot that down in your journal.
Jot that down.
It would certainly matter if that's a woman or a man's face on top of that.
Well, for you, it's probably a man. For me, I can't tell because it's eroded.
I don't think we'd be able to tell.
I'm saying you might be able to, because there's also that crack at the top. There could have been other erosion there. This has obviously been eroded by either sand or wind or water. So
shouldn't the crack be on the backside?
3 ways of erosion.
Yes, because when there's a sandstorm, sand will erode it. When there's regular,
that's exactly what happened, Matthew.
You know what? This is probably I'm so happy we decided to end on Karahan Tepe. Otherwise, this stream
you're welcome.
Wild at the beginning.
Well, it's
true.
You always end on the back.
I'm just saying, I've studied erosion.
God, Caleb.
What?
Repeat what you just said.
Not a set.
No, repeat it. Repeat it.
You always
said you always. Yeah.
On the back. We do.
A little. Oh gosh. Okay. So.
All right, everyone.
Good topic, boys. Good topic.
Yes, there are.
Hey, actually, Nikki, that is. Was this a joke?
Which cuddles?
Yeah. Which
she's
cuddles
talking about.
I was about to get
she's
serious.
talking about her north.
I was gonna say, I think it's a joke, but she is right.
We actually were covering that.
Yeah, they actually were.
Indeed.
Do you want to talk about what you'll be talking about next week?
Next
Little
week, I
preview?
don't know. I think we're going to be doing an alien stream next week. The week following, it'll be
Ooh.
Alexander the Great with the
You skip
homie Sundowners Club
Are you
and
skipping
Caleb.
things?
But next week, I think I'm going to try to find I think I want to do that African school that had a supposed alien encounter. So that'll probably be next week's stream, and then following that, I'm gonna do Alexander the Great with Caleb and Sundowners Club.
Are you not doing exorcisms?
Nah, that shit. Honestly, I don't have nightmares after that stream.
Oh well, then don't watch my Halloween stream because I'm going over some of them.
Nah, I was joking. I just don't want to deep dive into that shit. But
the topic, because I want to play one of the recordings of one, which is nutty.
But thank you everyone in chat for showing up and derailing it. I appreciate that. You guys came in at the right time for it. I'm gonna get out of here.
Came at the right time, huh?
Thank you.
We'll see you.
Peace
out,
everybody.
All right.
Penis statue.